Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Veronica Riera-Gilley of Prairie Fire Pharmacy Consulting, and it is day 4 of the Kiss My Asana Yogathon to support Mind-Body Solutions, a nonprofit organization that is helping to transform trauma, disability, and loss. I hope you've been enjoying the practices over the last few days, and if you haven't already, please click on the provided link and make a donation to support the wonderful work that they do. I'd like to read to you from Melody Beatty's gratitude book. And it says, practice an act of gratitude. Find one of your guiding lights or guardian angels and tell that person what he or she means to you in your life. Your guides may not even be aware of the impact that they have had on you. And who knows whether your kind words may be just the light that they need today to push them gently down their path with heart. Then take it one step further. Take the kind, loving thing they did to or for you and pass it along to someone else. And that is just part of my inspiration for the practice today, is to give back for all of the wonderful, nourishing teachings that Mind Body Solutions has given to me personally and professionally. If you'll find yourself in a comfortable seated position that's effortless to maintain, we'll take just a moment and check in with our bodies. Closing the eyes, bringing the attention to the body and to the breath. Without making any changes, just notice. Notice where the breath moves into the chest. Just noticing where you feel the rise and the fall of the breath within your own body. And when you're ready, drawing one hand to the belly, one hand over the heart. And then begin to deepen your breath. Take more time as you draw the breath in, more time as you let the breath out. And begin to notice as your breathing slows and becomes deeper, where does your breath move in the body? Just beginning to notice which hand rises first. Let's draw a big breath in together. And now let a big sigh out. Big breath in. And let a big sigh out. One more big breath in. Big sigh out. This time, take your big breath in, and as you let your big sigh out, keep the closed lips. Big breath in. Big sigh out with closed lips. Begin to notice that whispering ocean sound at the back of the throat. And if it's available, continue to breathe like this throughout your practice. And if for any reason you get lightheaded or it's uncomfortable to maintain that breath, just return to any breath that feels good for you. And now let's relax the hands into the lap. And then take a moment to find mountain posture in the chair. So sitting up nice and tall, bringing the ears over the shoulders over the hips. Take the toes and the knees tracking in the same direction, and take the feet about hips distance apart. So that's roughly 2 fists width, because our hips are not as wide as they look in the mirror. That's always good news to hear. So then just taking a moment to notice what this feels like in our mountain posture, where we've taken a moment to set our bodies up with the best alignment. Because we don't normally move throughout our day or even sit during our daily activities with that best alignment throughout our joints. So taking just a moment to notice what that best alignment feels like. Notice where we have space between the joints. Just notice those sensations in the body. Let's press down, being very active in our feet, even though we're seated in the chair. And now let's begin to move. Inhale, stretch the arms up, taking your gaze up if it feels good. And exhale, float the hands down. And tuck the chin down towards the chest if that feels good. Inhale as you stretch the arms up. And we'll exhale, float the hands down. Moving to match your breath. Knowing that if you're moving faster than me or slower than me, that's perfectly okay. As long as you're matching the movement to your breath. Let's take one more. Inhale as we stretch the arms up. And we'll exhale, float the hands down. Let's rest the hands into the lap. If at any time there's any movement that's uncomfortable, perhaps take less range of motion, or we can even not do the movement at all and simply imagine making the movement and breathing as we do it. Because if we're having pain in our body, we should listen to that. Because no pain, no gain is not a motto that works on the yoga mat. So listening, tuning into the body, and offering it a modification if needed. Let's check in with our mountain posture. Notice if we've shifted away from it. Maybe we need to sit up a little bit taller. And let's inhale, stretch up the arms. As we exhale, let's bring the hands over the shoulders. Fingertips on the front, thumbs on the back. And let's draw some gentle circles here. Inhale for half your circle and exhale for half the circle. And those circles can be as big or as small as you like. If it's uncomfortable to have the hands over the shoulders, perhaps put the hands in the lap and just roll the shoulders in a circle. Notice which direction that you chose to take your arms. And now let's move in the opposite direction. Inhale for half the circle and exhale for half the circle. Perhaps even taking it a little bit bigger, drawing those elbows in front. As you exhale, maybe even touch the elbows together. Feeling some compression underneath the arms and at the side body. This is a part of our body that's rich with lymph nodes, and this action of squeezing and massaging that area helps us move fluid through our lymphatic system and nourish our immune system. We'll take one more. And let's relax the hands in the lap, taking just a moment to notice how we feel. And now let's draw the hands over the hips. Inhale, lift and lengthen, reach through the crown of your head. And as you exhale, hinge at the hip and begin to reach forward with the heart. Inhale as you come up, and we'll exhale, hinge and forward fold. And just notice what's happening in our lower body. Notice the shift of the weight underneath our feet and from one hip to the next as we rotate. Just being mindful that as we're folding forward, that we keep both cheeks well planted in the chair. Notice if there's a temptation to let one cheek pop out of the chair. We want to stay well grounded and well connected. And press those feet into the floor. Let's take one more circle in this direction. And then we'll pause at the top. And we'll exhale and we'll move in the opposite direction for several breaths. Inhale as you come up. Exhale as you hinge at the hip and reach forward with the heart. And again, paying attention underneath the feet, underneath the hips. Staying well grounded and connected to the chair. Let's take one more complete breath. And back to the center. Let's scoot forward in our chairs just slightly. And find mountain posture here. Then let's stretch out with the right leg. And take just a moment to observe the body. Notice that we've changed our base, but can we still feel those elements of mountain posture in our spine, even though we've changed our base? So our ears are over the shoulders, shoulders are over the hips. We feel nice and tall and lifted, lots of space between each vertebra. And point and flex the toes. You may hear some snapping, crackling, or popping, and that's okay as long as it's not painful. There's lots of different explanations as to why we have these sounds in our joints, and my favorite comes from Chinese medicine, and it says that we're moving stuck energy. And now let's draw some circles with our toes, rotating our ankle in a circle. notice which direction you're moving your toes. Now let's move in the opposite direction. You may notice that the opposite direction feels a little less coordinated, and that's okay. We always choose our most natural direction first, and it's good to remind our bodies of all the ways that we can move. Now let's press out through the heel, curl the toes up towards the knees, and again, sit up nice and tall. You can either place the hands in the lap or take hold of your chair. Whatever feels best for you. We're going to inhale, lift and lengthen the spine, and then we're going to hinge at the hip, reach forward with the heart, and very gently forward fold. We're not going to go forward very far at all, just enough to feel a very gentle stretch down the back of the leg. And you'd be surprised at what small intentional movements can do to bring some stretch and release in the body without being painful. Let's inhale, come back up. And we'll exhale, forward fold gently, maybe going only 10 or 20% of the way forward. Being very gentle with our bodies. Forward folds tend to be very stressful for our low backs, so we don't have to go very far at all to feel a benefit and get a stretch from this forward fold. Inhale as we come up. This will be our last one. Exhale, folding forward. And we'll inhale, come back up. And now let's fold that right leg in. Let's take just a moment to pause and to notice how you feel. Notice the difference between the right and the left side, since we've done some stretch on one side and not the other. Now let's stretch out with our left leg, pressing out through the heel, curling the toes up towards the knee, and again, sitting nice and tall, finding that mountain alignment in our spine, ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips, but our base has changed. Now let's point and flex the toes. This is a wonderful and simple exercise to help encourage blood flow back up the body. It helps our heart whenever we exercise and use muscular action to help encourage our blood flow back up. Our hearts pump blood out into the body, and it has to pump hard enough to get it back up, those one-way valves in our venous system. And so by using muscular action and exercise, we can help to encourage blood flow back up and towards the heart. And we're helping our hearts anytime we move our bodies and use muscular action to help move fluids. Now let's draw some circles with our toes. Again, paying attention to which direction we chose to move the ankles and the toes. And now let's move in the opposite direction. And again, this opposite direction might feel less coordinated, and that's okay. We always move in our most natural direction first. It's great to train our bodies in all directions. That way, all of our muscles are prepared when we have something unexpected, like we get off balance, and our muscles are more prepared to deal with that unexpected change. And now let's press out through the heel, curl the toes up towards the knee, sitting up nice and tall. Ideally, we'll have a straight leg, but if there's any tension or discomfort in the knee, put a little micro bend in that knee. And once you find that mountain alignment in your spine, take the hands in the lap or in the chair, either one. Lift and lengthen, reach through the crown of your head. Exhale, very gently hinge at the hip and forward fold, leading with the heart. And we'll inhale, come back up. And we'll exhale, forward fold. Inhale as we come up. Last one, exhale, forward fold. Moving just far enough to feel a gentle stretch without any pain down the back of that leg. We'll inhale, come up, fold that left leg in, and then take just a moment, pause in your mountain posture to notice how you feel. And notice the difference between your right and your left side now that you've done the same work on both sides. From here, we'll move into our Gentle Warrior series. So let's walk both knees over the right side of our chair. Keeping a nice right angle in the left leg. Stretch out with the right leg. And you can keep the toes up, or you can turn the toes down, bringing the sole of the foot to the floor. This looks a little bit more like a warrior posture, but either orientation of the foot is fine. Find out what makes your hip the happiest, because our yoga practice is about meeting the needs of our body, and we don't have to look like anyone else in our postures, as long as we're doing what feels best and is right for our body. So then take just a moment and notice, can you find mountain alignment in your spine, even though we've changed our base? Ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. And then let's extend the hands out, keeping the hands at shoulder height. And I don't have room for that second arm with my door. Let's take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, using your exhale, draw that forearm down over the left leg. Inhale, reach up and over with the right arm. Spiral up and open with that right shoulder. Let the heart shine out. Reach through those right fingertips and draw down with that right hip. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. Now reach through your right fingertips, come up and out of that stretch, and now walk your right hand down your right leg. Inhale, lift up and over with that left arm. Spiral that left shoulder up and open, let the heart shine out. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. Take a moment and find out where your neck is the happiest. So you can look up, turn to the center, or look down. There's no right or wrong place to be. It's where your neck is the happiest. And come only as far down that right leg as you can without collapsing forward. Now reach through your left fingertips, come up and out of that stretch, relax the hands down. Let's walk that right leg in. Let's come over the center of our chair, and we'll pause for just a moment and notice, how do we feel in our bodies? What is the differences that we feel between our right and our left side? Where do we feel more open? Where do we feel like we've done the work? And when you're ready, let's walk both knees over the left side of our chair. This time we're going to keep the right leg at a nice right angle. Toes and knees are tracking in the same direction. And then let's stretch out with this left leg. And again, take a moment and notice what orientation of the foot feels best. Do we like the toes up? Do we like the sole of the foot turned down? What feels the best in our hip today? So wherever you would like to be, take a moment, feel that new foundation, and then see if you can find mountain alignment in your spine, ears over the shoulder, shoulder over the hips. And then let's stretch out the hands, keeping the hands about shoulder height. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, use your exhale and draw that right forearm over the right thigh. Inhale, stretch up and over with the left arm. Spiral that left shoulder up and open so the heart shines out. We'll take 3 big breaths here as you reach through those left fingertips. Draw down through the left hip. Find lots of space and stretch across that left side. And when you're ready, reach through those left fingertips. Press off that right thigh and then walk your left hand down your left leg. Inhale, stretch up and over with the right arm. Walking that hand as far down the left leg as you comfortably can while still staying nice and lifted, letting your heart shine out. Spiral that right shoulder up and open. And take a moment, find out where your gaze feels the best to make your neck the happiest. And we'll take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, reach through those right fingertips. Come up and out of the stretch. Relax the hands down. Let's walk your left leg in. Coming back over the center of your chair. And let's take just a moment. Let's notice how we feel in our mountain posture. Notice the changes between our right and our left side since we've now done the same work on both sides. Just noticing where we feel the change and the opening and the release. Let's scoot forward again in our chairs, and we're going to move into modified pigeon for the chair. And some of us may want to start simply by taking the outside edge of our right foot, placing it on the outside edge of our left foot, letting the knee fall open, and sitting up nice and tall, finding mountain alignment in our spine. So this may be stretch enough. Perhaps you want to feel a little bit more opening, but you're not quite ready to put the foot all the way into the lap. You can elevate your foot on a bolster. So bringing it up a little bit higher, or if it's available, taking the foot all the way into the lap. Making sure you're well seated on your chair for this. And while we're here, be sure to be mindful of your standing leg, the one that's doing no work. Make sure to keep it in mountain alignment with the toes and the knees tracking in the same direction. It becomes very tempting to let things drift, and we can start to feel that rotation up the body later on in the day, even if we're not feeling it in the moment. So being mindful, keeping that standing leg, or the one that's doing no work, in mountain alignment. So as we're here in our pigeon posture for the chair, with each exhale, let the knee feel heavy and work its way towards the floor. So if your knee is up here, it's okay. It simply means that you're a little tighter in the hips, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just breathe and imagine that the knee is moving in that direction to get a shin that's parallel to the floor. And even if we don't get there, it does not matter. Just breathing and thinking about moving and opening in that direction is enough. If you have any tension in the knee, keep the foot flexed, keeping those toes curled up towards the knee, activating those muscles in the shin, and that can help take some of the tension out of the knee. Also be mindful that the ankle is all the way off the thigh bone so that you can move the ankle freely if you needed to. So we're going to take several more breaths here. And if it's available, try shaking hands with your feet. So putting one finger between each of your toes and shaking hands with the feet. This is a wonderful way to distract yourself from the big stretch you're probably feeling in your seat. And it's a great way to undo wearing shoes. We cram our toes into shoes that have a narrow toe box, and it trains our feet in such a way that it's not the healthiest for us to be wearing very constricting shoes. Our feet are the foundation of the body, and they should move freely. And it's very nice to stretch out and give some relief to our feet because they do so much work carrying us throughout the day. Let's take just a few more breaths here. And do notice if you begin to slouch down, finding what I call computer posture, stay nice and tall and lifted in this posture. You'll notice a difference in where you feel the stretch when you sit up nice and tall. And when you're ready, letting go of the feet. If you were shaking hands with your feet, unfold and unwind. And we'll take just a moment. Notice how we feel. Notice the difference between the right and the left side. And when you're ready, taking any modification that you needed to, whether that's keeping the foot on the floor, raising it on a bolster or blocks, or taking the foot all the way into the lap. Knowing that wherever you're at is a great place to be, and yoga is not a competition. It does not matter if we reach a certain shape. It does not matter if we look like our neighbors or can achieve the same posture that I've achieved. Yoga is about meeting your body where it's at and listening to what it's telling you. And if it's asking you to do something different or to do less or not to do it at all, that's absolutely okay. Find the place where your body is happiest and breathe. And notice the quality of your breath when you find a certain stretch. If you find that your breath is getting short and tight, listen to that and notice your breath may be telling you you're working too hard or you're guarding something that's painful. Please do less. So keep that in mind. The breath is so intelligent and it often knows before your conscious mind that something needs a change, and it will have changed to begin to let you know and to clue you in as to what you need. So listen and tune in. Feel free to shake hands with your feet on this side if you're able to reach the toes. If you're not able to reach the toes and you have someone available at home that could stretch your feet and shake hands with your feet for you, that's a lovely treat to ask someone else to do that for you. Pigeon posture is also something that we can do lying down in bed. So this is a great posture to do. And then this standing leg would simply stay bent with the sole of your foot on the bed as you recline in your bed and hug this leg in. Isn't that exciting to know that we can do yoga from our bed tops? There's so many ways we can bring yoga into our days. Keep breathing here, and again, be mindful of that standing leg. Just notice if the toes, the heels, or the knee are wanting to drift anywhere, bring them back into that mountain alignment, sitting up nice and tall. I have a habit of putting my hand over my knee, but I'm not giving any pressure. We want to be kind and let our breath carry the knee down rather than offering any force to bring it down. If I leave you in this posture too long, feel free to unfold and unwind when your body tells you that it's time. We'll take one more big breath here. And if you have hold of the feet, let go of the feet. Unfold, unwind. Now let's take just a moment to notice sitting in our mountain posture. Notice the difference between our right and our left side. Noticing some symmetry that we were able to bring to the body, practicing the same stretch on both sides. From here, let's take a variation of eagle posture. This is a wonderful posture to help boost our immune systems because we're going to be compressing areas that are rich in lymph nodes underneath our armpits and then in the groin area to help move that lymphatic fluid. So we're seated on the edge of our chair. You could start by just simply crossing at the ankles. Or if it's available, pick up that right leg, crossing it over the left. Give the thighs a nice squeeze together. Some people are able to take their toes and hook their right toes back behind their left calf. That is not available to me, but that is an option if you are feeling that openness in your body to take that shape. So let's take just a moment, sitting up nice and tall and finding mountain alignment in our spine, ears over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips, even though we've changed our base. And now let's add some arms. Take the palms facing up. We're going to draw the right arm underneath the left. Hook that right elbow underneath the left and bend, taking the backs of the hands together. Another option may be to simply give yourself a hug, reaching those fingers towards your shoulder blades. Give yourself a nice big hug. It's another option there. Let's take 3 big breaths. Wherever you've got your arms is a good place to be. And we'll unfold, unwind. And let's take just a moment. Seated in mountain posture, notice how we feel. Again, noticing the difference between right and left side. Now let's cross the left leg over the right. And you could start just by crossing at the ankle, or we could pick up that left leg on top of the right. If it's available, you could hook those toes behind the right calf. Take a moment, sit up nice and tall, and let's stretch the arms out. And now this time, let's draw the left arm under, hooking the elbows. We could take the backs of the hands to touch. We could take that bottom left hand, wrapping it around, touching the palms, or we could simply just give ourselves a hug. Wherever you're at is the right place to be. We're going to take 3 big breaths here. And when you're ready, unfold, unwind. Roll out the wrists. And we'll take just a moment, seated in mountain posture, and notice how we feel. We'll take a few minutes at the end of class here to have a nice supported relaxation. So take a few moments to set yourself up where you're going to be completely comfortable. Perhaps you want to lay on the floor or even across the bed, some surface that's nice and comfortable. You can support with a pillow underneath the head, underneath the knees. If you choose to stay in the chair, you could roll up your yoga mat and put it along the length of your spine. It's also nice to cover up with a blanket. As we begin to relax deeply, we can often feel a little bit cooler in temperature. So wherever you'd like to spend the next few moments, find yourself there and then begin to invite stillness. This final relaxation in yoga is really where we get all the work done. This intentional rest is where our body gets to integrate the new patterns that we were teaching it. Just like young children need rest and sleep to integrate all of the new things that they're learning in their bodies, we need the same thing as we're undoing old patterns and offering our body new ways of moving and being. We need time to rest and to integrate these new patterns. Begin to bring your attention to the breath. If you have thoughts, let them come. and then let them go. Use your exhale to send those thoughts off into the breeze. You have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to be, but right here, taking good care of yourself. As you're ready, begin to wiggle your fingers, your toes, just bringing small movements into the body to help bring yourself back from your relaxation. Take any movement that feels good and let your eyes be the last thing to open. Perhaps take a full body yawn. And we'll take just a moment to notice how we feel after our practice. Offer your body some gratitude for the hard work that it did today. Your health is your greatest wealth. Thank you so much for investing in that with me today. We'll inhale up. And together we say, Namaste.